Welcome to the WRAL Daily Download. I'm Grace Holland. After 5 years leading the city, Raleigh's mayor says she will not seek re-election. Ann Baldwin made the announcement in a video message Tuesday, citing health concerns. WRAL's Matt Talhelm is joining us to talk about her decision. Matt, thanks for being here.
Glad to be here.
So how did we find out this announcement? How long have we known it's coming?
Yeah, I had talked to the mayor, Ann Baldwin, last week about her future and just an off-the-record kind of conversation. And then on Tuesday, we get this video that was released to us, shared with us first here at WRAL.
I want to thank you, the people of Raleigh, for the faith and the confidence you have shown in me. In the last several months, I've given serious thought to whether I would run for another term as mayor.
That she was not going to run for re-election. My understanding is that the video was actually recorded on Friday. So this is something that's been in the works for a couple of days for the mayor to make this public now. Okay.
And as someone who's covered city government during Mayor Baldwin's term, what was your reaction when you listened to that video?
Yeah, it's about 8.5 minutes, and the mayor outlines all of what she sees as her accomplishments.
During my 15 years of public service, I've focused on smart growth, especially along transit corridors, housing affordability and choice, my passion, innovation and entrepreneurship, and public safety.
And then gets to the message that I've decided not to run for re-election again.
My heart was telling me to run again. There are still things I want to achieve. I want to continue to work on housing affordability. I want to continue to see our transit options expanded. I want to see us build dynamic and equitable parks and greenway system that's well connected, bringing people together. And using our incredible fan base to build sports as an economic driver. But my head was telling me something different. It was telling me it's time to devote my energies to myself and my family and to find other ways to serve.
I kind of thought there might be something like this coming after talking with the mayor last week, but all signs really until now pointed to the mayor going for a third term. She had been fundraising back in the fall. In fact, in the last 6 months of 2023, her campaign raised about $124,000 from donors. So the signs were pointing to another election run here this year. And she had always said, I'll make a decision and an announcement in the spring. Now here you have it.
And what is the explanation that she gives in that video?
The mayor gets pretty personal in this discussion in her video.
Last year, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I was one of the lucky ones. Mine was caught in stage 1. My surgery and follow-up radiation was successful, and chemotherapy was not needed. I received excellent care from my doctors and the staff at UNC Rex. The experience made me stronger, and quite frankly, made me even more determined to run again. There's a reason why people call me a warrior. But then life happened. More life.
In addition to that, her husband, Jim, who's been by her side through all of these campaigns and all of her time here as a politician, he had to have open heart surgery and had some complications from that recently. So you combine all of that. Also, her dog, her 14-year-old Morky, named Jack Bauer, who a lot of people know from the mayor's social media presence. She brings her dogs along with her to a lot of big events. 14-year-old dog also had some challenges, some health challenges recently.
My biggest fear we were going to lose him. These events made life even more stressful, leaving me to wonder how much more I could take.
So with all of those personal things adding up, she says it's just time to focus on herself and her family.
All right. And refresh our memories. A lot of people have moved to Raleigh in the last 5 years during her term. What is Mayor Baldwin's history with the city? How long has she been a leader here? And what was her rise to mayor like?
Yeah, Mayor Baldwin was City Councilor Baldwin for 10 years. She was an at-large member of Raleigh City Council, so representing the entire city from 2007 to 2017. At that point, she decided not to run again for that seat, but 2 years later, in 2019, fast forward, she ran for mayor after Nancy McFarland decided she was not going to run for re-election. McFarland had been mayor for 8 years at that point, and so Baldwin got into the race, got back into it, and was elected in 2019 as mayor and then re-elected in 2022. You may remember there was a time period there that they changed the election. They delayed it by a year, so that's why there's that 3-year period there between her first election and second election. So she actually got an extra year as mayor when they decided to change the elections. But she has now been mayor since 2019, so 5 years, and that term will end in December when a new mayor is sworn in.
All right, well, let's take a quick break right there, and we'll be right back. So, Matt, before the break, we were talking about Mayor Baldwin's announcement not to run for re-election and just sort of how she became mayor in the first place. Now, in that video, you said a lot of that beginning of it, she talked about her accomplishments as mayor. What did she see as her accomplishments in that video?
Yeah, she talks a lot about housing affordability and choice. Now, we all know Raleigh has gotten even more expensive, so that affordable part is still a lot of question there. But the city council has made a lot of investments in affordable housing development. So that's one thing she talks about. She also talks about housing choice, bringing up the missing middle policies, which allowed for denser development in residential neighborhoods. That has also been challenged by a group of neighbors who don't want that in their neighborhood to have 17 townhomes on one lot where one home used to be. So it's faced some challenges in that as well. She also talked about innovation and entrepreneurship. And another big thing that the mayor mentioned as an accomplishment she feels is in just the last year, this historic, the largest economic development investment in city history.
The $300 million renovation and expansion of PNC Arena, as well as the development of a housing and entertainment district on the site, which will also include workforce housing. The economic impact of the Carolina hurricanes in the arena is significant, about $600 million per year. Imagine what the economic impact will be when we have a $1 billion private investment in this area.
And the mayor says that, she feels the support for sports and the sports as an economic development driver here in the city is one of the biggest things that they can do. She even hinted at the idea that maybe a Major League Baseball team could come here at some point. That's been something that fans sure have wanted for a long time. So she talked a lot about that as a big goal of just getting these sports teams that we have around here to become a part of the economic development of the city.
And just in general, how else did her 2 terms go? Has there been, you kind of mentioned that some pushback from neighbors who weren't fans of the developments going on, but were there other controversies or things that happened?
Yeah, Mayor Baldwin has been mayor during a period of very rapid growth and development in the city, and that has faced some challenge, and she's faced critics because of that. There are a lot of groups that don't want the city to develop this fast and this dense. There's a group, Livable Raleigh, that even formed after she became mayor to fight back against some of that. And so she has faced challenges when it comes to being accused of being developer friendly and allowing any developments to move forward. She's also faced some challenges more recently with the decision to not take up a resolution for the Gaza ceasefire. We've seen protests at city council meetings and public comment sessions really going back to November of last year. And another big thing that she has faced a challenge with is letting people be involved in the process. When you go to these meetings at City Hall, each person's usually given 3 minutes to speak. The mayor has the option and ability to shorten that if there's dozens or hundreds of people signed up like we've seen at times. And, a lot of people don't like when she cuts that time from 3 minutes to 2 minutes or even 1 minute to get their message across. And she also was part of a decision back in her first 2 months as mayor to get rid of the citizen advisory councils. Those were the groups in the community, the neighborhood groups that brought up issues of development and gave their recommendation to city council. She was one of the council votes that voted to end those, disband those, and that created a lot of tension with some people in the community.
So what does her decision not to run for re-election mean for the mayor's race?
It's going to open that competition up, that's for sure, to not have an incumbent who usually is a favored person in a race. To not have an incumbent in it you now have at least 6 candidates who have said that they are running for office, including another city councilor, Corey Branch. He's served as mayor pro tem for a while as well. You also have Janet Cowell, who is a former state treasurer. You have a businessman. You have Terrence Ruth, who ran against Mayor Baldwin in the last election and lost to her, coming in second place there. You have several activists, a student that's involved in all this, a college student. So it opens it up a little bit more to maybe we'll get to know some of those candidates better and not be questioning them against the things that the mayor has done. They'll be able to set their own agenda.
And where does Mayor Baldwin and Raleigh as a city go from here?
Well, for Mayor Baldwin, she says she wants to spend obviously more time focusing on herself and her family. She also has accepted a new job fairly recently as executive director of the Cooper Charitable Foundation, which was started last year by a builder, a general contractor here in town, to provide financial assistance in the form of housing stability grants for people who they're working and maybe can't keep up with their bills. So she says, the mayor says that housing affordability and choice is her passion. That's what she really enjoys working on. So she'll have that job to go to and to continue to work in the housing issues in the city. And she says she wants to find other ways to serve the city, just not as mayor.
Raleigh is growing. That's an inescapable fact. We have too much to offer. Great, kind people live here. We have great schools and universities, a great climate, incredible job opportunities. We've got a lot going for us, and we can't mess this up. So I look forward to seeing who decides to step forward to offer themselves to serve our great city. We need to support candidates who have experience in government and who have the know-how to keep Raleigh moving forward. That is so important.
For the city itself, it will mean a new mayor, no matter what, in December. You know, when you take that option of an incumbent out of the race, you're going to have a new mayor in the city of Raleigh at the end of this year.
All right. Well, definitely a lot to pay attention to as we get closer to Election Day for that. Thank you so much, Matt, and thank you for listening to the WRAL Daily Download. Another great way to get WRAL news is the Morning Briefing newsletter. It's a daily email that's waiting in your inbox every morning with local news, events, and headlines to get you ready for the day. Sign up at WRAL.com/newsletter.